So in a relationship, the focus on avoiding and healing from arguments and just general communication should be on creating an atmosphere and a feeling of safety, respect and care. This is carefulness and this is integrity. This is the practice of integrity. The emphasis on communication should be about listening. It's about creating space and slowing down conversations to avoid and to reduce arguments. When people keep interrupting each other, they're not listening, and volumes of voices increases, people feel unsafe and very unheard, and they even feel upset and angry because they feel in a way they're being disrespected because they're not even being given the time of day to be listened to. So in a relationship, communication should focus not about expressing yourself as the primary thing. It should focus on listening and creating a quieter, slower pace and space to allow and make the other person feel safe, comfortable, heard and respected and listened to. If you do this, they're going to eventually catch on to possibly doing the same for you. But even if they don't, or in the meantime, you will be listening to them. And when you listen to them, you're going to gain a lot of good information, which is going to help the situation and your relationship, because you're going to understand where they're coming from and how they're feeling. And basically the things that you want to focus on is how they feel, what they want and what they need. Now what they want and need sometimes can be harder to differentiate between a need and a wish or a want. But also you want to understand their emotions and what they'd like, you know. So what you don't want to do in communication or a debate or argument is, sorry for a little bit of noise, I just felt so inspired to make this right now before I arrive at my destination. In an argument or a communication, you do not want to be condescending as if they're stupid or like very lacking or aren't good enough in some way. You do not want to be condescending, like, you know, you do not want to be belittling or disrespectful. Belittling, I won't say the word disrespectful. You don't want to be condemning or critical. You don't want to be character assassinating. You don't want to be trying to hurt their self-esteem or their confidence. You don't want to be insulting them or putting them down. This is the number one cause of separation and predictor of separation or divorce, when criticisms happen. So you do not want to do that. So you want to live from integrity. Create a feeling of safety, respect, and where the person feels safe and like being cared for or heard. And finally, when someone is like very upset, and the modern word is like when someone's triggered or very emotionally charged, often related to past upsets and hurts, wounds and disappointments. So it seems like something's blown out of proportion. We don't want to do the automatic response, which is to blame the other person and feel and make it out as if they're wrong or stupid or don't know better or should know better, you know. When we have this idea in our mentality and in our psychology, obviously then this then creates feelings of upset, hurt and annoyance and frustration and anger in us. But in reality, people are, including ourselves, we all are where we are, and we should not know better because we do not know better. There's been an extremely particular set of circumstances in our life all the way through that led up to right now in this situation, where we've had a variety of different hurts, belief systems, perceptions, traumas, wishes, hopes dashed, and all sorts of wishes and hopes that have yet to be materialized. And all this creates a huge psychological and emotional perspective and complex within us. So it's unrealistic and irrational actually to think that we or somebody else should know better or be better than the way we are at this moment. So the focus in communication should be on understanding the other person by listening quietly and very carefully instead of reacting and interrupting them continuously. That's what you don't want to do. You want to create a feeling of, like I said, being heard, space, quietness, slowing down a conversation. This will really stop an argument in its tracks. So that's a huge tip to practice. I recommend listen to this video again because I've gone through a lot of stuff fast. I've premeditated and thought about it before making the video also, and I'm trying my best to portray it helpfully to you, to help you, your loved ones and your partner. Even if you're a woman or a man, it'll really, really be helpful. So, understanding brings compassion. Understanding and compassion open the doorway to feel and to bring love and real, true, sensitive care to the table. And when you're in that place of slowing down the energy, not interrupting, and being very particular and deliberate with your being present and looking and listening and being present very carefully with the person and helping them to feel safe and that you're trying your hardest to doing your best to understand them. And often you can actually say sentences that are very helpful, like, that makes sense. So even if you disagree with them and you find it hard to understand, it makes sense to them what they're saying. For example, if they say, I feel very lonely and anxious about this, or I felt very upset and hurt when you did this. You could say, no, I didn't mean it that way, or I didn't do that, I didn't say it that way, it was your fault. You were just thinking this in your head. Instead of saying this, you could say, yeah, that makes sense. I can only imagine or guess where you're coming from. This would feel this way to you. And if I was in your shoes, I'd really fully understand. But I'm trying my best, just to listen and hear what you're saying. Sometimes you could say, I hear you. Instead of interrupting so fast with a big counter argument. That's what happens. That's why everyone's getting divorced and separated, everyone, because we're not listening. We're not making each other feel safe and heard and understood and listened to. I've been practicing and learning this for a long time. And I'm just sharing as I go along. I'm just learning as I go along. So we can't have unrealistic expectations that we're all going to be perfect. We're not. So moving on, next point. What you want to do to heal and love and create a lovely, happy relationship and bond is you want to quit blaming the other person for everything, for anything, particularly for everything. You want to stop the blame game and you want to start taking accountability and responsibility for your own emotions, thoughts and perspectives, beliefs and behaviors, your actions and your inactions, and for your body language. Because it's not only the words that we speak, it's the words that we don't say, and the atmosphere and the energy we carry around us. So when we're really upset and annoyed and upset and frustrated or sad or disappointed, etc., often that will be the beginning of an argument before if they could be in the happiest mood ever, and we're carrying this atmosphere and energy, and it's in our body language and in our facial expressions, it's in all sorts of stuff. It's in our words that we speak, it's in the way we become passive aggressive, or we become distant to them, or we ignore them, or in certain things that they say, and they pick up on it, and soon they're going to be very upset or hurt, and upset or argumentative, and soon there'll be some sort of fight brewing. So just bear that in mind, because that is a huge thing that I've only learned lately from my friend Patchy to become much more aware of. So when we are triggered, let's say somebody could be triggered first, okay? And now let me rephrase that. Someone who could be very outwardly expressive with their emotional hurt and upset and triggers. They say words, they're more noisy, they're more moving their body more, they're more like gesticulating with their hands, they're expressing themselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they got triggered first. What can happen is the other person in the relationship gets emotional and all these feelings and this atmosphere within them, and that's their trigger first. But just because you internalize it and you stay quiet doesn't mean you haven't been triggered. You've just been triggered and you're internally holding it in. But like I said previously, people will pick this up very, very easily, especially if they know you. Obviously, very, very easy. Now, maybe this isn't obvious, so I kind of apologize in a way for saying obviously, because that's almost like saying you should know better, but you shouldn't. And I didn't know better, and I'm only learning, so that's a mistake on my behalf. So what I'm also exemplifying right now by saying, I'm not blaming and saying you should know better. I'm taking accountability and responsibility and saying, yeah, this was me. I made this mistake. I did this thing. I didn't do this thing. I own up. It's my fault, or it's my reasoning. It's my behavior that I would like to change. And you can say, I intend to change. put a lot of focus and energy into becoming better in this department. So that's a huge point. Accountability and responsibility, instead of blaming and instead of pointing the finger, is a huge thing to practice and learn in relationships too. So this video has like a huge bunch of tips and advice and suggestions of things to do, things not to do, and various things to become very much more deeply aware of. And I think I've come to the end of the list that's on my consciousness right now, even though I may remember something later. But anyway, for now everyone, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, please do like it, and I hope it's been of help and service and value to you. Finally, I just want to say, if you haven't already, do subscribe for future videos by hitting the bell button below for future notifications. Now, if you don't hit the bell button, you will not receive notifications of future videos that I will be making regularly throughout the week on body, mind, spirit, holistic living, relationships, communication, self-empowerment, personal healing, self-awareness, cleansing, healing our bodies, fasting, intermittent fasting, diet, cleansing, herbs, superfoods, nature, a lot of basically raising our frequency, our awareness, and raising our vibration. And just basically being in a position to be able to be happy and peaceful and to create beautiful, prosperous relationships and have the happiest life ever, you know. So that's what I'm really interested in, it's personal expansion. So hope this video has helped you, and thanks again for watching. And if you feel inspired to share with your friends or family or social media, I love that, but no problem if you don't, no pressure, no, it's okay if you don't. Thank you, lots of love, and namaste. Peace, love, namaste, and have a nice day.